Hi, this is Glenn MacArthur, and this is the most likely the last edition of Atruth.com because I'm going back to work. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about proportionality. And we're going to talk about remote viewing. Now, in remote viewing, we know that what that means is that people, especially trained, can use their minds to latch on to information in other people's minds in order to get things done. Like what happened with the with that colonel, it was UN colonel that was abducted by the Chinese Red Army back in the 70s. They used this remote viewing to locate him and free him from his captors. Now, if that's true, I mean, and it obviously works, then we might be looking at a better excuse for inventions such as like the Indian Chandra, who came up with those complicated calculus information. He said he got that from his god. Maybe his Hindu god is still living on the planet somewhere, and he's connected to her. Okay, well, I give him credit for that. But also is disturbing because it also means that if you have a party line type frequency in your head, you could easily be they could be misdiagnosing you with schizophrenia. Huh? And wouldn't that be a mother? Okay, so let's take one section at a time here. One of the biggest oh, things like this that happened was to a man called Nicholas Tesla. This guy, he was for 20 years. Okay, he grew up and he was fixated with electricity. When he came over here and he went to work for Edison, he was so prolific. He just had these ideas coming about alternating current right out of the blue, hitting him, and all sorts of dynamic motors and everything. He had more patents in less time than most people even think about. He gave us our electricity. He gave us neon. He gave us the death ray. He wanted to give us free electricity. He based a lot of his technology on free electricity, kind of like what the ancients did with the pyramids. Yeah. Well, now we know that the Great Pyramid was basically a machine to create energy, electricity. What if that's true? Wouldn't that be shocking? Now, what would be the powering of this stuff? Ley lines. Obviously, they put magnetic confluences in back in the time of the Stone Age people into the ground and into several and into several monuments. We have these monuments such as you've seen the George Washington Monument. They're all over the world, and there's pyramids all over the world. Were these connections for the ley lines when they were powerful, when you could use maglev ships to go from place to place, anti-gravity ships? And that would also explain the Roosevelt and the Nimitz aircraft carrier stories. What happened there? I mean, I didn't see any coming out of the gyro photo movie. I didn't see any propulsion system coming out of them. Why? I mean, there has to be some kind of propulsion. You don't hold up 2 tons of equipment in the air and go supersonic without some. We do know that in electrical, you put enough juice into it, you can go faster than most things on the planet. You take a look at that chopper that I saw on the on Geared. Yeah, that thing took off like a bat out of hell. Now, if that's the case, that would explain the supersonic capability of this thing, and it would also explain all that fuzzy wuzzy stuff coming off of it while it was doing all these weird gyrations. Now, why isn't somebody in the Pentagon thinking like that? Because they got their head in the 9/11 crapper again. They don't get their information, they don't analyze, they don't come out of the box. Even though they may have brain and stars and a bad attitude, they're still as stupid as the guy who was in charge of the FBI during 9/11. And that scares the holy hell out of me. I don't know if it does to you. Now, let's look at other things, okay? You take a look at the Rendlesham Forest. Okay, you had a bunch of drones come down for 2 days. Then you had the mothership show up, stay over the nuclear storage facility for what, for 5-10 minutes, and then out there. Well, that makes a hell of a lot of sense because guess what? They're probably using nuclear fuel or isotopes to run their primary fuel source, which seems to be like mercury. But you're going to have to dig up Dr. Hans Kalmer to figure that one out. Oh, and there you go. I saw the 9/11. I saw the not the 9/11, but the Roswell crash so-called video where you ancient aliens where you stated that we believe that maybe even Dr. von Braun was there. Dr. von Braun was into rockets. He was into the building of rockets. He was into the using of rockets. Dr. Hans Kalmer spent more time with flying saucers and spacecraft and little gray guys from different planets than anyone has in the past 1,000 years. And then all of a sudden at the end of the war, whoop, he disappears. With the bell, the engine from that German Roswell vehicle of 1936. And he was told by Hitler, take it to the Americans. Duh. Well, there you go. Times change, things change, but that's another story. The fact of the matter is that it's all about proportionality. We need to think proportionally. When you're looking for something, you better get the conversion element right, or else you're just going to make a big mess. Like number one, what am I looking for? The guy on the Atocha with barely a college degree, he knew what he was looking for. He was looking for a ship, a big ship full of gold, okay, and silver and diamonds that fell during a hurricane. And he figured, well, yeah, it might have the buoyancy to go this far. And boom, he found it. Now, the basic problem here is we're not thinking like that. We're going, whoa, ship of gold, wow, look at that. When we should be thinking, 2 tons of gold, 60 feet by 60 feet, goes down probably under about 10 feet of mud. Yeah, that's what we should be thinking. But no, we're not thinking like that. That's our problem. We get all weirded out by the weirdest things, but we need to get back to simple analysis. Now, I am almost positive that Albert Einstein was he was a smart man. He was as smart as my father, who created the keyboard. And me, I created the beamform network. But the fact of the matter is, even though the $1 trillion industries, so what? We didn't profit from it, did we? And he created this idea he created this idea of relativity. Where did he get the idea of relativity from? Duh. As I said, maybe he had a party line, but he wasn't as powerfully affixed to the idea as Tesla was. That's the reason why when Tesla died in 1943 and they sent back they wanted to send back all his trunks. I believe there was 80 of them. They only got 20, and the other 60. Where the hell did they go? The man who was in charge of this mess of checking it out for possibly any security or national interest was, guess who? Donald Trump's father, before he became a land baron. Funny how that worked out, because basically, he wasn't supposed to make money off of that mess, but obviously he got into real estate after the war. So what I'm trying to explain more than anything is that if you take a look at ancient aliens, they talk about Nikola Tesla, and you take a look at the stuff that's been flying under these aliens lately, I only got one word for you. They're not a million years ahead of us. We could find those, if we could find those patents, we could change the world as we know it real quick. Wouldn't that be a shocker to those little gray guys? Anyway, I think we need to really start thinking and stop sitting on our excitement. We are ascension. We are smart, right? Then let's start using it. Anyway, that's Glenn MacArthur, and I'm signing off. And I hope you enjoyed my blogs. Goodbye.